And we are live. Welcome back, Ep.9, Robot Mentality Podcast. I'm Ben, your boy, Sick
Sick
Nailer.
Nailer.
There we go.
What's,
There we go.
what's going on? Good
What
evening,
is up,
robots.
everybody?
This is the NFL Draft edition of the
NFL Draft
podcast.
Edition.
Not actually,
Were you watching any of the draft a bit ago?
not at all. I just threw it on.
I
opened my ESPN app to see where Tua went.
I was watching it for a minute, and some of those poor analysts they had on, man. Well, one dude was literally in his, like, they're at home, obviously. They're doing this from their homes. One analyst was wearing a mask in his flipping office. I don't understand that.
Stay away from his wife.
I guess. And then
That's
some of them just have these jank camera setups and they're sweating like crazy. Like they don't have the normal team to flipping pad their face off every minute, I guess.
put makeup on them.
Break.
Isn't that interesting? Like I've seen that too with a lot of this like remote stuff, like even on like CNBC and stuff. Like people have some like terrible home office setups from what it looks like, or they'll have their like kids walking around in the background.
Well, that happens, but some people, just have flipping just trash setups. Like, and there's just a lot of people. There've been multiple stories. Let's see if I can find it here.
Yeah, and not to even mention crappy webcams. Couldn't be bad.
Shut up. I'm looking for a webcam, folks, but I'm not paying 5 times the normal price because they're all sold out and getting scalped. I'm better than that.
We're trying to be able to let you see our faces while we talk so you can see the sincerity and passion in our voices as we articulate our points. But okay, Ben won't get one.
So here, I'm going to link you to this really quick. Okay. I saw this the other day. And this stuff, I've seen this multiple times, like literally the same story with different people. Like this lady, she's a news reporter.
Why is she in her bathroom?
Why are you in the bathroom? And secondly, her
she's
husband,
a stylist. That's why.
You can see it in the mirror. Like she's literally her husband's wiener's out right there. Like what an idiot. Like that's happened so many times. I keep seeing stories of accidentally recorded wife naked or husband naked. It's like you guys are stupid, man. Clear your surroundings.
Was he like in a bedroom or was he in a shower?
No, it looks like he's in the shower.
That's what I thought too, but maybe that's like a lead-in from the master bathroom or something.
First off, the wife should have said, "Hey, I'm recording. Stay away from this half of the house."
Hey,
second off,
dude, I'm live on TV.
Why, if you're in your bathroom, why do you need to angle your camera right behind the mirror? She should have turned around and faced the mirror and then done that same camera angle, so you have like a wall behind you. Like, I don't understand that. Plus, it looks all junky with all your stuff there. At least
she's a stylist, maybe.
True. Well, I guess that's true. It doesn't look very organized, but I guess she was styling. She was styling that dude up pretty naked, I guess.
She's about to style his fro.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, back to let's get back on topic here. Not that there's any topic to be on, but one question I was thinking. So I mean, you hear this most NFL drafts. The worst team gets the first pick, obviously. So a lot of teams are like, "Oh, does this great quarterback?" No, that's not where I was going with this.
No, that's what it is. All right, keep going. I'm talking about the draft, yeah.
Yeah, should this quarterback actually want to go number 1 overall to the team? And they're saying that about Joe Burrows.
Yeah.
Put yourself in the shoes of an NFL player who's about to be a top draft in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Is there any situation where you would not want to be the number 1 pick, or would like the competitiveness of just want to be number 1?
Well, okay, here's the thing. I don't know. Being number 1's a big deal, and there's also a lot of money involved in being number 1. Okay, the endorsements you're going to get, the actual contract bonus, everything. Obviously, getting some money up front, but not having a good playing career or not being on a good team or in a smaller market hurts you in the long run. But you're also not signed for life on your rookie contract. What was it typically, like 3 or 4 years?
4, maybe 5 years, yeah.
And there's also the chance that, hey, the Bengals could turn around. If you're in Burrow's shoes, if you're good enough, you could, put a team around him. Because I think there's a lot more to be said, just if you want respect as a player, going somewhere that's losing and turning it to a winning culture, rather than going into a winning system and just being there. It's like you're not really the reason they're necessarily winning then. You're just following somebody's footsteps, I mean,
right.
That's kind of why people that join the Patriots, even better players at better seasons, got a lot of flack because the Patriots were already a winning team. Say they pick up, flipping like Amendola or somebody. It's like, did he really win them a Super Bowl? I know he's not a quarterback, so it's different, but he was obviously really good for them. But it's like, I mean, any player in any sport ever can join a winning culture and just join right in if you're good, right? But if you could be the player, especially as a quarterback in a leadership position, that takes a franchise from a losing franchise to one of the best in the NFL. I mean, I think there's a lot more in that. Personally, I mean, money wise, maybe not. I don't know how that plays out totally, but just as your prestige as a player, that's way bigger to do it that way.
Yeah,
And
I
just
agree.
saying you went number one, man. No matter how your career turns out, you went number one. He probably made $20 million today between his contract and endorsements that he immediately
Yeah,
gets.
probably
So,
at least.
I don't think there's any shame in that. And when he talked about it, because people asked him if he'd really want to be with the Bengals or if he wanted the Bengals to try to trade their pick or whatever, and he said he's happy to go wherever and just wants to create a winning team. So I could respect that. I mean, that's probably the answer every number one quarterback would say, but
I think the competitor comes out, and I think that's more desirable than you'd think to like be the number one pick, go to the worst team, and have the
yeah,
chance at turning them around. And I mean, even at number two, you're going to be viewed as in a very similar way, but not quite the same. So, plus being
yeah,
number one, that's
yeah.
something they've been trying.
So,
They've been working for that their whole career.
oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's almost similar to you brought up the Patriots, like how Tom Brady took pay cuts as a quarterback, and it helped him have a better team around him.
yeah.
And that's like the same, like
Same
selfless,
ideal. Yeah,
kind of the same idea backwards. It's like, do you take less money so you can be on a better team, or does again like the competitor and the I don't want to say alpha male and you come out, but kind of be like, no, I want to get paid what I'm worth because that's what
yeah.
I'm worth.
Well, that's why he kind of left now, is because he wanted to finally make his money. And you know what? When you put in 20 years with the Patriots, you go play to your fullest value. After 6 Super Bowls, you don't have to be that team guy necessarily. I mean, it's respectable he did it for so long. With Brady, the thing is, Brady's a smart man, and I'm a Brady fanboy. I'm a Bucks fan now, and we could get into the Gronk deal if you want. I am such a Bucks fan. I'll follow Brady wherever he goes, but call me a bandwagoner. I don't care. Um, the thing about Brady is the dude's a smart guy, and I guarantee he had a long run picture because making an extra $5 million a year versus, maybe it was five. I'm just throwing out an arbitrary number. So say 5 million on 20 years, which rookie contracts wouldn't get. We'll say on 10 years. Okay. Say if he would have played his full value, you could have got another 5 to 10 on 10 years. Okay. So your range, maybe 50 to 100 mil. Okay, fair. Um, but then you have less of a team compared to a six-time Super Bowl champion Brady, like what he became, arguably because of taking the pay cuts, so they could build best teams possible. I think in the long run that pays off for you way more. The money and deals involved with Super Bowls, involved with being the best of all time. When the dude's 85, he can be on any commercial he wants for millions of dollars, holding up his 6 rings, doesn't even have to say anything. I mean, I think your long run picture is better being a winner rather than just being somebody on a still a good team, but getting paid more in a good team. If you're playing a money game, I think the long run is to be a winner. But
That's a good point. I mean, obviously it only works if you're the GOAT, which he is. So like 100% hands down. I think that's the one sport. Well, I think hockey, you would say it's Wayne Gretzky too, pretty simply.
The thing is too, and I guess I'm this way because, like, yeah, I want to make money, but I'm not money focused or find value, like inherent value in money enough. I would rather be somebody known as being the greatest, and I would do it for way less money to people talking about me in 100 years saying I'm the greatest. Like, there, at some point you make enough money to where you're not gonna spend it anyways. It's just gonna be there when you die. It doesn't really change anything. So once you hit a threshold, you don't have to pinch pennies. I mean, it's purely about winning at some point. At least that's what the good athletes do.
MJ, he got paid.
He got paid. I haven't watched The Last Dance yet, by the way, at all.
I haven't either. Is it episodes? I think
it's 10 episodes. I think they're either
for
a half
some
hour
reason,
or an hour each. We have it recorded. I'm actually going to start watching it at some point. I'll watch it over a long period of time. I'm not going to sit down and do it all at once by any means. But it's like 2 episodes a week for 5 weeks. So
for some reason, as big of a sports fan as I grew up being, I completely missed the any bandwagon. And I know he retired like right around the time I was born.
Mm-hmm.
But I missed like any kind of bandwagon. Like I don't even care about Michael Jordan. Like it's like I know he's great, but I've like never even like watched many of his highlights. Like I don't know anything about him. I'm not enamored with him
I'm not a
like
big
everyone
enough
is.
NBA guy to be as enamored. I respect him as a person, and just from what I've seen, I mean, you have to respect. He's one of the greatest American athletes ever, obviously. So you have to respect that. The dude had a bulldog work ethic, and he was definitely a bulldog. I'll have to find the tweet. Let me actually pull this up of a quote from The Last Dance. Did I tell you this already?
No, I'm thinking of whenever you see like funny quotes with him when he says "F them kids."
So okay, well yeah. So the thing about MJ too, before I get into this quote, is just as a person, yeah, he's a bulldog. I don't know what corners he cut playing. I don't know, but he's obviously the greatest. He worked, dude said he was at like 12 hours a day in the gym. I mean, it's just insane. The dude grinded his ass off. Um, the thing about MJ too is just how smart he's branded himself since retirement. I mean, his Jordan cut alone. I saw recently. He has his share of the Jordan brand. It's worth billions of dollars. Like it's huge. Or maybe it's worth a billion or something. I know it's at least a billion. His deal with Nike essentially, but the way he's branded himself, he owns a ton of businesses or is incorporated a ton. I mean, in his Last Dance documentary, he was drinking bourbon, and people noticed what bourbon it was, and that's one of his companies. And now the price is shot way up. Like the dude just knows how to position himself. But so this is a quote from the documentary, which I find really funny. I mean, it's kind of screwed, but it just shows you his bulldog mentality, his winning mentality. He'll do whatever he has to do to win. And so the quote, the guy in here, it's from like somebody in the documentary. Apparently, that's who Johnny is. So just want to mention that. But the day before Game 4 of the Bulls-Suns finals, with the Bulls leading the series 2-1, Michael and Charles Barkley, which I love Charles Barkley, went golfing. They played 48 holes of golf, and Michael bought Charles a $20,000 diamond earring. Johnny asked MJ, "What did you do all that for?" Michael responded, "He won't get in my way the rest of the series. What's 20 G's to me? Charles thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat effer." Jordan dropped 55 in Game 4, and Barkley never touched him the rest of the series.
That's insane.
That is
That's
insane.
hilarious.
That's actually so funny. It's so messed up, and I wonder what the relationship's like today. Because I'm sure Charles found out that was kind of all a ploy soon after. But
Maybe.
I find that really
Maybe
funny.
no.
I
Charles
don't
probably didn't
encourage that
care.
type of behavior, but it is funny. Just that quote. The quote saying he thinks we're great friends. I hate that fat effer. Like that is just a funny quote. Like
I think he has another good quote like that too. It kind of reminded me. He was a savage. Like he was that. Yeah, there's another one, but like he's just 100% savage, and how he was all business, all winning. That's all that mattered, and like he kind of created a culture of that. Really,
is that a healthy and morally correct culture? Always not necessarily, but he wanted to be the best. He achieved being the best. It's respectable, the work ethic at the end of the day, even if you don't respect the things surrounding that. But actually, about the F them kids, is that a real quote? Because I never knew if it was. I knew it's memed really hard.
I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't.
I just always say it.
It is funny though. I don't know. I'm sure it's worth the watch because I'm sure there's a bunch of tidbits like that. But that's pretty.
You made a point about MJ earlier and his businesses that I want to talk about. It's interesting, like the thing with his bourbon, right? So he just has all these business ventures. Once you've made it in business, I feel like once you have a successful business or two or a successful brand, it is 100% like a snowball and contagious.
True. And I'll add to this. Or you can go ahead. You go ahead.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like even thinking of it like from micro scale, like if you're not stupid with it and you're even remotely ambitious, like if you have anything to leverage at all, you can just go above and beyond from it. And the way I've like seen it recently is just like I learned. So like I'm trying to write a blog. We've talked about that, and like I mean, I am writing a blog, and I'm not ready to roll it out yet. But something people do with blogs, like whenever I heard a blog, like even through college, I was like, that just sounds stupid. Why would I want to like write a blog, right? Well, it's so much more than that. Like if you can establish credibility in like one little facet, then you can parlay it into other things. Like you can find a blog that kind of features it of someone who's way bigger than you and be like, hey, I'll write an article for you. And then you write an article for them, and then it back references you there. And then you're on like a news station for this. And then you can like use all this like little bit of business just to throw you out because everyone's looking to use like another person. So then I don't know, everything just crosses over. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, But once you have your foot in the door with notoriety and something,
Oh yeah.
you can just totally parlay it out there.
That context is probably a little off the wall for a lot of people, just because I guess maybe people aren't as familiar with blog culture necessarily. But what you're saying is exactly true, and that even shows like on YouTube, it's the same thing. Once you have any sort of notoriety as a YouTuber, you're either maybe you're making. So say you're a gamer. I'll use a stupid example. Have a gaming channel. Maybe IGN asks you to make a video for them, and then next day you're flipping collabing with some other YouTuber. Like it snowballs quickly. So I get what you're saying there. I think
Yeah,
that's completely true. Yeah.
it is crazy. And like just like another example is like you know who like the Nelk boys are on YouTube, right?
Yeah, sadly.
Like
Yeah.
you can debate over if they're funny or just
Some of
jerks or
their
what,
stuff
but
is funny, but I think they're genuinely not good people. But yeah. I mean, a
I
lot of their
yeah,
stuff is really funny. A lot of it's really messed up, but
I don't like watching prank videos. I think I just like cringe too much watching prank videos, but they're making these like Zoom call
yeah.
pranks that I think are pretty funny actually.
I wanted to do that. I wanted to try to Zoom raid people, but one, I don't have a face cam, so kind of,
Rip.
double whammy, right? Um, with the business thing though, I don't know if you've ever. I haven't watched it too much. I've only seen it a few times, bits and pieces. A-Rod had a show on. I don't know if it was ABC or something. I don't know if it's still going, but what he'd do is he would find athletes that have no money now, like former famous athletes. So a lot older. And he'd basically help them start businesses to, just learn how to market themselves, learn how to make money on businesses, just kind of off their name. And it's amazing. Obviously, A-Rod's a huge businessman, huge real estate mogul. That's kind of how he got his ground up after baseball, was real estate at the start. Now he owns a ton of businesses. He invests in stuff through Shark Tank, all the whistles. Thing with A-Rod that I find so interesting though is once you establish yourself to a point, he'll go on these shows and he'll just tell these guys, hey, you used to be a lifter. You used to be a big power lifter, right? So we're going to start you a protein bar brand or something. That was one I saw. And he literally knows enough people to where he can walk into somewhere. These manufacturers already have options for him. Like, he's not actually making the item. He's having people coming with their items. He tests it, and then he says if he's willing to put his face on it or not, or this guy's face, right? So the amount of work you really have to do once you can establish multiple businesses is a lot less because you have the notoriety, and people know, hey, I can make something really cool, and if I slap that guy's name on it, we both win, right? So it's kind of, I mean, it's interesting to me.
No, 100%. Like, and that was something I was talking about with my brother last night. Like, we were talking about like business ideas we have, and we were just joking around. I was like, "Hey, when you make it and you're a millionaire from this, like, and I fail, like, can I at least like live in your basement for free?" And like, we were kind of just joking about that. And he's like, "If I make it, you'll make it, because like it's if one person that has made it wants to help like a nothing,
Yeah.
they can just make it happen." Like, he's like, just look at other people that are debatable if you like them or not, like Jake and Logan Paul. Like Logan Paul, he
I've
was
been
the
on
one
this
who
with
was
my brother lately. We had a
he was
conversation about
100%
this.
famous from Vine. Jake Paul if Jake Paul's name was Jake Tyler and they weren't brothers, he would never have been anything.
True. I think they were both big. They both got big on Vine though originally. So I don't know. Maybe Jake, yeah, kind of followed Logan, but I'm just saying they both got a lot of followers in the end on Vine before it went down. Apparently, at least
True.
what I've heard. So I think you're right though. The thing about Logan Paul is, because I was with my brother, we were in the car and he had like Logan Paul's podcast on because I don't know if he likes Logan Paul, but he likes his podcast. I
It
guess
actually is pretty decent.
I listened to some and I was not impressed, but at least who he had on. He had like a porn star on. I was not into it, but he or no, it was a dude dating a porn star or something.
That's his co-host.
Okay. Um, which that right there doesn't send a good message to kids, but we can get
Who says it's for kids?
His whole fan base is kids, and he's even talked about the podcast. His average demographic's like a 9-year-old, and they listen to that, so that's not a good. They're not good influences on the age range they actually capture. And
I'm not supporting
can
either.
they
I'm just
help?
challenging.
That's fair. Can they help who really watches their videos at the end of the day? No, but if it's all, what I'm saying, you could keep it a little better content if you see the demographics, hey, the average viewer is a 9-year-old male. Okay, that's a side rant, I guess. But the thing with Logan Paul, which I think he genuinely is a hard worker. I don't know enough about him, but I mean, yeah, he sells his name on anything. Like once you hit a certain point, whether it's collabs, whether it's his merch. I don't know what all he's into, but I know he just made masks that are apparently like $60 a pop. Probably takes like less than 50 cents each to make. Probably way less than that, and they're like sold out. But the thing with him is, well, I don't know. Maybe I don't even want to get into that. Go ahead and give me some thoughts. I gotta regather what I was gonna say properly.
On their podcast or what?
Well, just what you're gonna say about Logan Paul further, or was that the main thing?
That's just the main thing. Like, yeah, and I mean, we can kind of keep going with that. Like, even like with the businesses being developed, like they have so many potential streams of revenue.
Yeah.
That like 1 out of 10 of them can catch and actually work, and then the other ones can just be a place. I don't know totally on this. So this might be ignorant a little bit, but like a place to have losses as a business or like for business expenses, like that they can just spend on complete crap to spend cash.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were talking about that with me earlier.
Here's what which I don't know that to a T either, but I just know it's a thing people try to do. I don't know how. I'd have to look into it more. The thing with like Logan Paul though, in the episode of the podcast, like this is where it gets wrong for me, like morally wrong. Where if you're doing this, you're not doing it in the right mindset. You could hustle, but you could do it the right way. There's definitely an immoral side to hustling, where it's just so worshiping money that it's just not right. At least coming from me, which I guess I'm a Christian, so.
You guess?
Well, no, I am. Sorry. No, I am a Christian. I don't know why I said I guess. I am a Christian. I just mean, I said I guess it really doesn't come across as right if you're kind of hustling to worship money or worshiping money. The thing with Logan Paul that annoys me is every other word on his podcast. Sorry, I had to cough. Every other word, him and this other guy, it's all constantly like the only conversation is clout. Like clout. I can only work with this guy if he's bigger than me. I have to deny this guy unless he have half my fault. Like it's not. Maybe I get the business aspect of it, but it's almost like it's not
superficial.
It's so superficial, and maybe it's not even chasing money at the end of the day. It's like chasing notoriety and power. And at that point, you're not a hustler. You're just like. You can call yourself a politician at that point. Like, that's not doing it for the right reasons. And if you get wrapped up in that mindset, you're not putting yourself on a good path. Like, your life on a good path. The meaning of your life on a good path. So, there's a right and wrong way to do it. Now, you could be like, you could end up richer than Warren Buffett. And Warren Buffett's a guy that done, and granted, he's more through the investing side, developing businesses, not making them per se. I mean, besides Berkshire, but that's kind of an investment group. He's not really in it. The dude's a pretty humble guy. He's one of the richest dudes in the world. Runs a massive company, but he does it the right way. He's not focused. And yeah, he's older, but he's not focused on power, fame, anything. The dude kind of lives a quiet life and just does his thing. And I get it. If you're an entertainer, it's different. But even if you're an entertainer, you gotta go about it the right way. Does that make sense? Like, if you're just worshiping having power and clout, then your life's already so far gone that you're going to be just like any other Hollywood star that ODs at 35. Like, there's no difference.
27.
You're chasing something that's ultimately meaningless at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. And it almost
shows... That's the same thing with purely chasing money, though. It goes hand in hand. If you worship money, it's the same thing. You die the poorest man in the world when you die.
There's so much like flash in a pan entertainment and like fame that has risen in our generation and like in the last 10 years just solely from the internet and like quick access and like the phenomena of things going viral.
Yeah.
Like you can be like a complete idiot. Like chick on Dr. Phil, Bad Baby, Danielle Bergoli or whatever.
Yeah.
Like she was just a complete idiot, made a fool of herself on you can discuss the I don't know the word.
She's like a rapper now. The Catch Me Outside thing, that thing?
Yeah, exactly. Catch Me Outside girl. Like, yeah, you can debate how legit that show is, but like she's on, whether it's reality TV or not.
Yeah.
But like she was, making a fool of herself, and then someone somewhere decided that was funny, so then they put it on Twitter, however it got famous. I don't know. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she's a pop culture star and a meme, and then she leverages it. Like she gets a business manager who her mom probably hired, who like, hey, you know, it's like her mom's rich now too, which is funny. But if you leverage like fame and clout, like you were saying, I don't even like that word, but if you leverage that the right way, like clout is like currency basically, and that's why they're so obsessed with it, is because it's basically money. Like people know who you are, they're gonna buy your product, service. Like people have like these garbage courses, they're not musicians and they drop music and get streams on it. Like there's all sorts of different like fun things that they can do to make money because they have a following. Like if you have a following in 2020, like you can do anything. Like you can sell feet pics, right?
Honestly, which we can get into that in a minute, but yeah, it's just the dangers of, well, yeah, there's been so much, and at the end of the day, it's based off instant gratification culture. That's what raised these internet stars to become what they are on both ends, on the consumer and the producer side. But it's just a dangerous message because I think a lot of more kids are coming up now where, like, you know, followers, likes, your social media presence, like that's everything. Like that's the only thing that has meaning in your life, and you're a loser if you don't have that, right? And that's why, you know, Instagram's gone as far, which I don't know if they actually did it yet, but apparently like likes are hidden. I saw that a while back. So kids, like little kids or teenagers,
they're not actually.
Oh, they're not.
They were saying that they're going to. No, like I've been following it because I think that'd be cool if likes went away, because like it's a subconscious thing. It's like ingrained in your mind. Like before you post something, you're like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna get likes. Like I'm sure some people don't think that way, but that's like the general thing. And then you just watch it. It's just like a very toxic habit for yourself.
Like I actually kind of agree with Instagram for once. That's probably a good policy to have.
Yeah, they didn't do it.
But it's just the idea. Yeah, it's just the idea that everything's just based around numbers like that. Really, especially in the social media age, I guess for the common person, the amount of people you follow on Twitter, Instagram, you probably never interact with. You probably really don't care what they're doing at the end of the day, and they don't care what you're doing. I mean, that's just my opinion on social media for the most part. As somebody trying to make money off it, I guess that's a different story, but it's just such a superficial way of life that we built. So I don't know where I was necessarily going with this conversation here, but
I want to know like the fall of social media. I think there's going to be a fall of it, or at least a change of the guard.
I think eventually the fall is when, because now that we've had social media, people have absolutely, anytime somebody gets famous, any brand new person is famous. I don't even know. I don't know an example. This guy hasn't. He's already been to prison. People already have dirt on him. But say that Joe Exotic guy from the Tiger thing on Netflix, which I'm not going to watch, by the way. Maybe it's good. I don't know. I'm just not going to watch it. But literally, whenever somebody new gets famous, all these simps do on Twitter is literally go back through everything they've ever tweeted just to find one thing offensive to try to take them down. Like, people are starting to realize as a whole, and so are social media developers, that people don't want to have a past on social media. They just want to have their current, and things kind of delete over time. That's why Zuckerberg is investing so heavily on Facebook. He eventually wants a wing of Facebook to be where after you message something or post something or whatever, like it's gone a certain amount of time, it can never be recovered, there's no trace of it. It's the idea that you're not always tied to your past on social media, I guess.
So it's almost like
which is like interesting, and I remember when Zuckerberg talked about this, I think it was about a year ago, he was saying that the majority of teens, like even when they're texting, they don't want their text to exist after the other person has read it. They want to be gone. He said that was Facebook's general consensus from whatever studies they've done, which actually I kind of agree with, honestly.
I think that's 100% valid. Like I think that's useful to like be able to look up a text if there's information you need, but like I'm like that. Like if I'm like I don't want like record of what I'm talking about.
Which I'm not doing anything bad on the internet, so I have nothing to worry about. But I'm kind of the same way where, and that's why I don't really use social media for personal reasons. I mean, I have a couple posts on Instagram, but I haven't even opened Instagram in like 3 weeks. I just like I don't want somebody to be able to go online, know everything about me. If they want to know about me, they can listen to my podcast. How about that? But
there you go.
Like that's just not me. I know there's a lot of kids like that. I think there's an increasing amount of kids like me that don't want their whole lives out there. Like if you want to get to know me personally. You don't have to look through my Instagram. But
yeah. I feel that. The other side of it though is like I've had friends, I've like asked some of my friends who are the other way, who are like always posting stuff or always posting stories, and it's like So me, I don't post stories because I feel like people don't want to waste their time seeing what I have to say. Like I feel like I'm like disservicing someone by interrupting their day, even though they're mindlessly
Well, they're
trying to
opening
find it.
it, so it's their
They
problem. But
are
yeah,
right, but that's my mentality. What for whatever reason, I don't know. I look at other people's stuff and it's fine to me. But then I asked one of my friends, and he was like, I constantly post stuff on my story because like I want people to know what I'm doing and like people to see that I'm doing this. And I think it's like
I think. Or go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know. That just seems. I
That
don't want to
seems
say it's
so
unhealthy,
screwed.
but
It
it's
is
just like
unhealthy. It's totally unhealthy.
or like I will be like in a conversation, like someone will be like, "Oh, I just hope I make it one day," and then like I do all this, and then this girl will be like, "Oh, I can't believe I let him go." Like, why would you ever want to like
Who
think like
cares?
backtracked?
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
do things for yourself, not to like prove things to people who don't care about you.
First
Like
off,
100%.
going with the like, he's the one that got away type beat. Like, if you're happy, why in the heck would you ever be thinking back about a girl who regrets not having? Like, why would that matter? You know?
I don't think it does once you actually do make it, but I think that's what people who never make it or like are just stuck in like a
I would never
bad
want
cycle of
that. I would
thinking.
never care. I don't think I'd ever even think back on that. That would never come across my mind. I mean, that's just me. But the thing about the whole story thing is, man, no matter who you are, I don't care who you are. You could be Kim Kardashian. The majority of people are going to view it genuinely do not care. They're just in the instant gratification trap of mindlessly scrolling through something. They don't care about what you're doing. It's like what a lot of musicians that I respect say with concerts, and some musicians like which they're not very good live, but Red Hot Chili Peppers, they hate if you have a phone in their concert. They do certain concerts where it's banned entirely. Because they specifically say like nobody is gonna watch your shitty video of our concert on Instagram and care. Nobody. Like you can either be here and enjoy the moment, be in the present, or don't come. Like they've literally said that before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I respect that a lot, and I agree with that. It's like the same thing. I saw Dexter Fowler of all people. The only thing I've ever agreed with that's come out of his mouth, or that he's done for the Cardinals, because garbage signing. But he said last 4th of July, he's like, public PSA, nobody cares about your firework videos or wants to watch them. I'm like, I totally agree. Like, if you're doing something special or it's a holiday or whatever, like, enjoy your time. You're literally watching what's going on through your phone. Like, that's such a retarded mentality. Like, there
It
are
is,
literally
yeah.
people who pay to go the front row of concerts, probably drop, even a big festival. They probably, at a festival, you're probably paying extremely expensive tickets. You've probably camped out for 3 days to have a shot at being in the front 50 rows, and you literally record the whole damn thing watching it through your phone. Like, you are an idiot if that is you. You need to rethink your
Brain.
life if that is you. If you're flipping filming some of the funnest, best moments of your life, then you have a problem. I can get maybe filming a little bit or maybe take some pictures, but if you're watching something that's happening in front of you through your phone, you're genuinely an idiot. Genuinely.
Yeah, if it's unique, film it. Like, but if it's like a concert or a fireworks show or like just
Well, I mean, you could say a concert fireworks show are unique. I
that's
mean,
not nothing about
to an
fireworks is
extent. Well,
unique.
maybe not
They
fireworks.
happen every
A
4th of
concert,
July.
yeah. If you want to take a few clips, whatever. I mean, I have a growing fondness for musicians that are banning cell phones at shows. I love that. That's totally. I want to be at those concerts. Because then people are into it. It's better for everybody. But the thing about people like, having to take 20 pictures of them at the gym, pictures of every meal, like nobody cares. I'm all for, hey, if you're at the gym and you've been working hard and want to juice yourself, I'm all for that. I'm not shaming that. But, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody cares, you know? If you want to do a
Uh,
gym thing, if you want to do a gym update every day, whatever, if it's a personal reason, you're losing weight, you're gaining muscle, whatever, that's fine. I'm not specifically dissing the gym thing, but, like, at the end of the day, I don't care really anything you're doing. There are very few people that actually care about what they're doing. And it's nice, if you have a friend maybe you haven't caught up with, you see, oh, that guy's in, flipping France at the Eiffel Tower. That's dope. Good for him. Like, every now and then those type of things are cool, and I'm happy for that person. But the majority of things you see, like one, I probably barely know you, even following you, and two, like I don't care what you're doing. So I'm just wasting my day watching what you're doing when I could be doing something instead.
and almost in a sense, you can flip out you can flip all your strong feelings or anger that you just had, and you should almost put that on yourself because you're the one wasting the time viewing
Yeah,
it. Like
yeah,
people
yeah.
are like
It's a
a
simp
point of social
mentality.
media. Like the opposite is you're building your brand on social media. Maybe like people this isn't people's goal in it, but like the point of social media is to grow a following and a brand if you want to look at it that way. So
Uh,
you're the one consuming it. You shouldn't be mad at them for posting it. Like you're the one
well, no,
clicking
I'm
on it.
not. I'm
Like
not getting mad at them. I'm just saying it's a shame from their standpoint. I don't consume the content. I'm on neither side of this, so.
right, yeah. I'm just trying to view it from the opposite side because like if you're to produce something or like create something, I can see it. Like if people are gonna watch and care like about your dumb stuff you do, like I mean, whatever,
I
you
just,
know.
yeah. I just think
It's
if it
yeah.
depends if you're well. Say you're a YouTuber and you're trying to actually make content. I guess that's one thing. I guess what I'm referring to is more the normal person. Like you're some for whatever reason you're taking a billion pictures of your everyday life. Like you're somebody that has a lot of friends. So you got like 500 followers, whatever. Like nobody cares. It's a problem on both sides because you're not living your life by sitting and documenting every single thing you do. It's one thing to take pictures here and there. That's cool. You should have pictures of yourself, right? But if you need to sit in video every time you're eating a meal, like you have an issue. You really do have an issue. That is an addiction. And then the same thing for people consuming it. Like, say you follow, there are plenty of Instagram accounts that follow, like, even average accounts follow like 500 people. And you're sitting and flipping through their stories. That's probably an hour of your day at least just on their stories, not even scrolling through the posts. Like, it's a problem on their end too because you're just becoming a mindless consumer. Like, it's an issue on both ends. That's why I'm not really a fan of social media overall. There, like,
I,
I like Twitter as a platform, and I've figured out how to use it now to where I don't waste time on it. Like, I reevaluate who I'm following all the time. I only follow things I need. Most of them are educational things or news related, or I do follow a good amount of sports accounts, but it's things I'm
I
interested in
wonder
at least.
the things that people are posting, or like I wonder if there's a correlation between how much people post and levels of self-confidence or like
Oh, dude.
insecurity.
Yeah, no, there's I don't know about the exact posting, but there's multiple studies. I think my freshman year in college, I wrote a research paper on this. Um, there's it is actually a proven correlation that the more you use social media, the probably less of a positive self view you have. So,
Yeah.
and
Well, if
I
you're
think
constantly
even if you hadn't
posting,
seen any studies, I'd agree with that. Anyways, I would totally agree with that.
because I
If you're
would
really
think
a
like the
confident
roots of it.
person, you don't need constant gratification from somebody else liking your picture at all.
Right. I think that's what it stems from is the you're constantly looking for likes or like, oh, is someone gonna validate me today? Or bro, and
Yeah.
I've been around guys like this too, but I've been around a lot more girls and I hang out with guys a lot more than girls too. So it's like telling something like a lot of the girls I've been around, they are so obsessed with when they post stuff.
Has to
They
be at
will
the right
look
time, has to be the right caption, like all this stuff.
They
I know.
will look. They'll look at their stories. They look at who viewed them. They'll like freak out if a certain person viewed them, or like notice when like someone didn't. It's just, or they'll get they have 20 people they're Snapchatting and constantly snap everyone back right away, and like snap scores like they've sent over 1 million in their life. Like
Oh my
it's just
gosh.
people. Part of it's addiction, I think. Well, a lot of it's
It's addiction,
addiction,
yeah.
but it's like addiction because of
But the
the
addiction causes the negative
unstable
self-view that continues it. It's a cycle. It goes back and
or the
forth.
inverse. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The thing is, so from the producer side, yeah, needing the constant validation, but from the consumer side, also, it's proven anxiety, depression way boost as social media use scales. Like it's a proven correlation. You could do as much research as you want. Anybody listening, that's 100% fact. Um, but that's because you're constantly seeing what other people are doing and feeling like you're missing out. It's the whole FOMO thing. Because you're wasting your time watching them do it instead of going and doing stuff yourself. So it's a trap people fall in really quickly. Um, like if you want to use social media, I think a lot of social media is cool, and there are definitely cool things that stem from social media. And people make real friendships over social media. I see it all the time, and I'm somebody who's made real friends over people I met gaming years ago. So that's a little different, but I'd still argue that's kind of a social media. Um, the thing is, like, I think there's more negative than positive in social media, and I think sadly a lot of kids, like, if you're 13, you're not old enough to have an Instagram. I'm sorry, your mental state, that's just gonna throw you straight into a lifelong addiction of scrolling through your phone. That's what happens to the modern day. I mean, that's 100% true for most kids.
Everyone complains about kids, but the adults are almost worse.
Oh, the millennials are bad. Millennials are really bad. The Gen Zers, which is our generation,
Yep.
statistically, 'cause I wrote on this too, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right. I had multiple sources. It was a team research paper I did for a class, but the Gen Zers, actually, their use is apparently less than millennials, even though it's still high. But a lot of Gen Zers have grown up around technology, so they don't find it as intriguing. They just find it something that
Mm-hmm.
exists. Millennials were around early enough to see when it didn't exist, so this is still just a revolutionary
New,
thing that
yeah.
changed their lives, right? And then groups older than millennials typically aren't as heavy on social media. It's kind of hit or miss, but um,
Probably
I
because
mean, that's
millennials
probably
got
that's probably the
technology at,
worst thing if we're gonna go down to some of our
bro.
robot mentality basics. Like being addicted to social media is probably the number one vibe killer, just in general, of anything you're trying to do, no matter what. Of all addictions, well, there's a lot of addictions that are bad. Uh, I mean, social media, like I don't think we as a society look at social media. You could make an argument that social media in a way is as destructive to your life as like alcoholism. You really could. As far as how much of your life you're wasting, your mental health you're completely wasting. And yeah, alcohol, obviously that's terrible too, and terrible things stem from being an alcoholic. And yeah, you're damaging your body being an alcoholic, but it's the people that are addicted to social media, depression, anxiety, skyrocket. Those are the people that kill themselves. Like at least alcoholism, you have a chance to get out of it. Those are the people that end up freaking suicide at 16 that you see all the time in the news. Um, so as an addiction, like it's not talked about enough. It really isn't. There should be a lot more light shed on social media. But sadly, I mean, the companies that run these social medias are the mega companies, the absolute mega corporations that have a hand in everything. So they're never going to let it become the mainstream to push against social media at all. So it's an interesting cycle. The sooner you could break that mentality of having to use social media constantly, the better off you're going to be from everything from self-esteem, from like depression, anxiety, just having time on your hands to do stuff, just being able to be productive. If you're gonna sit down and do something on your computer, like if first off, turn your notifications off for social media, and second, you can be sitting down doing something. You open Twitter for 1 sec off a notification, and then 30 minutes go by and you didn't even notice. It felt
Yeah.
like five. And
That's
that's
what I,
definitely happened to me. I'm not denying that, but it is a killer for what you're trying to do. So I think social media is in a whole, it's fine, but you have to be mature enough to control it. If you're not, then it's a big problem. You should cut it.
yeah, you just need to be controlled and everything. The thing that I found for my productivity, like now when I'm sitting down to work, I just throw my iPhone on to do not disturb. And it's not that it's not that I don't even check it. Like I'll probably still check it every 10, 15 minutes, like just to look at my screen, make sure I don't have like an important work call or text or whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing that kills you is useless notifications. Like if you have your phone sitting on your desk and you're typing away trying to write something or research something and you get like say you get a Snapchat from someone, I know you don't use Snapchat, but this is a
Screw
big one. Like
Snapchat. Don't fight the
say
ghost.
say you get a Snapchat from like someone who you don't even remotely need to talk to at that moment. You're going to open it and then you're going to see the three other ones that you have and then you're going to get done with your Snapchats and you're going Instagram.
Then you're gonna
It
check your
was
stories on Snapchat and on Instagram and all that kind
Yeah,
of
and
business.
even if you don't go into that snowball every time, if you take like those 3 minutes, like in the middle of like a good workflow, workflows can get interrupted so easily just by the little ding, and then you're on your phone and then it's game over for your
Yeah.
productivity.
Yeah. Well, not only productivity, but also could just be your train of thought. That could have ruined your train of thought for the next week. Like you could have had an idea in your head that won't come up again till a week later. Like that's definitely happened to me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I was trying to finish and I forgot, or mentally working through, or whatever. Um, it's just not like if you want to use Instagram with personal people, I'm cool with that. Maybe follow some content creators or whatever, I'm cool with that. But Instagram specifically gets to the point where I know a bunch of people that literally follow 1,000 people and have like 1,000 followers. One, with all those following, you have so much content to consume, and literally out of those 1,000 people, you probably only know maybe 50 of them well, probably way less than that. So it's literally all people you're engaging with that you don't even know, which is where it draws the line for me. If you're not any sort of content creator and need those people, if you're just the average, just everyday Joe, right, using Instagram, like you have to cut that. It's not healthy to try to be viewing content from that many people, especially when you don't know them. You're never gonna interact with them. You're never gonna DM them even. You just see their pictures. Like that's not a good thing. Like with Twitter specifically, I really try because I used to follow some meme accounts, some like other accounts, like parody accounts. I kind of cut all those. I mean, I only follow kind of for the most part things that will benefit me seeing their tweets. That's really it. There's some stuff that is more for enjoyment or news, but I mean, I follow Stephen A. Smith, for example, but he's for sports. But I don't know. I think if you're gonna use social media, you gotta cut it to what it can actually be meaningful. Then you put yourself in a better situation. If you want to follow your friends, that's great, but you don't need to follow your friend of your friend of your friend's cousin and like their pictures every day, which that's kind of what ends up happening with a lot of social media, at least on Instagram. Um, so I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I feel like we fleshed it out well enough. I think you kind of sound like the angry, crazy guy to an extent. Like you're a
Well,
little,
I
you
think
hate it a little too much. It seems
well,
like.
it's not that it's not even that I hate it because I do enjoy Twitter and I have an Instagram. I don't use it, but I have one. It's just I think it just sickens me to see so many people waste their lives on it. That's I guess why it makes me sound angry. I'm not necessarily angry about it. I know I'm coming across that way, but I think it's more so annoying though. Man, it kind of just annoys me. Like, if we go and Nick and I go out to dinner with all our friends and literally everybody's on their phone on Instagram, like why the hell are we here? It's just like I don't know. It's just I grew up in the wrong time, man. I should have been an early '90s kid. I'm telling you.
I hate when people say they grew up in the wrong generation. That
I
like
grew up. I grew up.
I want
I
to
always
slap
reference
people when they
this.
say
I
that.
always reference this to music because all my favorite bands, some older bands like Oasis broke up in '09. I'll never get to see an Oasis concert. If I was an early '90s kid, I would have gone to an Oasis concert. That's the thing I always reference. No, I am glad I'm growing up at the time I am, but or
I
have
love
grown
it.
up.
I
But
love where I'm growing up. But
I,
I've
I
I,
I'm saying more as a meme, but like I think I would love to be in the modern world, but we treat like the modern world, but social media doesn't exist, and like you can actually have more genuine relationships with people, if that makes sense.
no, I get it. Yeah, I'm with you. I think it can be a tool. Like
No,
it can be a good thing. But
it
yeah,
can be
we're
a
not
good
disagreeing there.
thing, but I don't even think there's an argument to be made. 99.999% of the flipping billions of users on social media are not using it for anything productive whatsoever. The average consumer of social media is there to sit and mindlessly consume content. That is it.
The world's going digital though. Like I mean, eventually we're gonna need to have places to talk digitally or like to have friendships and keep up. I know you're not disagreeing with that, but like there's some necessary evil in it, I believe.
Well, yeah, it's one thing to keep up with actual friends, though, but when people move away, whatever. But I think that's not a great mentality. If you live near these friends, go see these friends. Like if your only option ever, you're never gonna see them again, but you're gonna Snapchat them every day. Like that's stupid to me. I get if they live somewhere else, but if it's feasible to see them, people should see people. Like actually go to dinner with somebody. Like
Yeah, like right now, let's go do that.
dude, I'll go do it. Let's go get
We're
takeout somewhere.
quarantined.
We can get
Oh,
takeout
the takeout
anywhere.
you wanna? Well, our
Sit 6 feet
takeout next week
apart.
is gonna be that pizza that you owe me.
Uh, apparently Bloody Monday is coming up, so we'll see.
Yeah, you've been saying that for like 2 months
I
now.
haven't been saying that now. I've been playing the upside of the market as of late, besides Snapchat, so I'm not really concerned. I don't have any dog in the race.
Fighting the ghost.
But this is for the Bears. This is a good sign. This stimulus got passed and it dropped the market. I think people are finally starting to see that printing money is not the answer. But do we want to get into? Well, we kind of should get into it. Let's
Might
get
as well
let's get
cap
into
off.
let's get into and we don't have to talk on it for too long. We're at 50 minutes right now. Let's get
Yeah.
into the simp mentality that we were kind of discussing lightly before this, and we kind of mentioned it because it does tie into social media. I guess you could say, without trying to be offensive to any group, I say this as a genderless word, by the way. The kind of hoe mentality that we really do live in now, especially kids nicking my age. Um, I don't know. How do you want to preface this, Nick, before I get into it?
I don't necessarily. Okay, I see. Like you're gonna have to just lead on this one because I have a thought like that's more developed, but I gotta like hear where you're coming from first because this is kind of
Well, I
blind
was kind of referencing
conversation to
this
me.
Reddit post I saw. I think somebody actually retweeted this, and that's how I saw it, and people were discussing it. But it's kind of the idea that it really is an unpopular opinion now to not be somebody that finds value in instant gratification relationship culture. So I guess you could say constant partying, constant, drinking drugs with people, constant hookups, somebody different every night. Um, which if you want to do that, I'm not saying you can't do that, but I do think it's for kids our age. I think that's the majority of people now. I don't think that's a minority. Um, so I just saw something of somebody saying they were kind of tired of that. So it's worth discussing. I don't know. We just thought it was an interesting topic.
Yeah,
And
well,
you
and I
can do what
think
you want with your life. I think everybody has the freedom to do what they want. So I'm not saying you can't do it. But it's
I
interesting. I think it
let me.
stems to instant gratification. But go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think this is probably so people have been hoes forever, right? Like
Yeah.
this isn't anything new, but I think what is new is that like people are being praised for it now and it's all out there for everyone
Yeah.
to see and like with like the like Tinder stuff like that helps it and just like you're your own person, go off queen, like all that crap, which makes sense to an extent, like because that's just people doing what they want. But I think the difference is that it's all broadcasted and out there now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there have always been people like this. And almost the nice thing is it's like less like shady now. Not that's not what I mean. It's
No,
all
you're
out
good. You're good. I won't
it's
take it
all
out of
out there now.
context.
Like it's easy for me to see as a person, like as a say I'm looking for a girl that I want to date.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, and I'm all for you, but like if you like have your ass hanging out on your Instagram, you just got disqualified. Like you're not like
Same.
I'm just not I that's just not me.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just I'm not for that. So, it almost makes it easier for us to find like suitable people we're looking for if that's the way you want to look at it.
Yeah. And I get both of us with that mentality because I agree exactly with what you just said. I mean, we're definitely in the minority of men nowadays, at least our age. Most dudes are, and I say this as a meme. I'm
It
not
sounds
using
like a
this. I'm
simp
not
when he
using
said it.
this. I'm not using.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello. No, it's like, hello, Queen. I saw your tweet about how all men are trash.
Oh
While
my
I also
gosh, that's a
agree all men are
soy boy
trash,
too.
I know I am one. Ugh.
Yeah,
Except
yeah.
like I said, but
It's
yes.
like we're definitely in the minority with that thought. It's just like the idea. And I say this word as a meme, but it's definitely this whole simp culture thing. Like simp as a word is kind of a meme. But I agree with it. Like it's very real. The amount of guys who literally, okay, we'll go back to social media, and it ties in perfectly with social media, who will sit and just gawk over chicks like all day and sit and comment on all their stuff, and, like spending hours of your day doing that. Maybe if you like one person and you want to comment with them or try to DM, like I could get that. But the idea that you're like constantly consuming content, and I know people like this too, that literally follow like 500 different models or OnlyFans people or like all this. It's just like, why? What are you doing with your life that you need to see so much of that every day? Like, um, and I guess we'll get into this maybe a little bit more politically. Like, I just find it very hard because, like you said, like I saw this post recently, and you know what? This chick has every right to do what she wants. If that's how she wants to achieve, getting a house, I'll talk about it in a second. I'll explain. Then that's fine. This chick, like 21, said she's bought like a mansion because of her OnlyFans, right? Whatever. I guess is it cheap content at the end of the day? Yes, that you made it on. That's fine. And you know what? If you're happy, I don't care. Okay, that's completely fine. But the thing is that these same people, it's like, which I'm all for feminism. I'm not for third wave feminism. Third wave feminism is the toxic side of feminists. Okay, feminism at its core is a very good thing. We should be, in most areas, at least as people, regarded as equal, obviously between man and woman. I'm 100% for that. That's how it should be. But a lot of these women, are, like, we have this Me Too movement, all this, and I'm all for it. People doing bad stuff should get exposed. Um, But we have this Me Too movement that says women aren't objects, but then you literally just sold yourself purely as an object, and if you get called out on it, you're gonna white knight that person. Like that doesn't add up to me. There can't be room for both. You're either one or the other. Like that's extremely. I mean, it's purely hypocritical. You can't tell yourself like if you want to be all for selling women aren't objects, which I agree with, women are not objects, then you can't literally sell your soul and body as an object and like it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? Because they glorify that culture, yet they glorify not being an object. Does that make sense? Like they want to
Yeah,
have both. That can't exist at the same time.
I'm trying to think if there's like an equivalent for men though, like to like see the opposite side of it to argue it. But I totally
There
agree
probably
with.
is. I can't think of it offhand. I bet there is something we could come up with.
I agree with you that they're making themselves an object, but it's almost like they're viewing themselves like they have like they're OnlyFans, right? It's like when you have your like it's basically like a private Snapchat story where you have like your pictures that you post on there for the dudes that pay for them. It's like it's almost like it's like a low level of prostitution, really.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, you can argue over that. I think it gets.
I mean, you could say any porn's
in that sort of nature.
Paid prostitution. That's what it is.
So, but like in their eyes, it's in a way, it's like they have a commodity. They're gonna market it and sell it as a service. It just gets like into a very hazy thing that I feel like someone with. I'm not saying if you have an OnlyFans, you don't have any self-respect, because I know that there's different worldviews and things like that, but I just don't really see how I can see eye to eye with someone who like thinks that that's like a suitable way to make a living. But at the same time, I'm all for like marketing what you have. So like it's a tough thing to say.
Of all things to market, it's a cheap thing. It's a thing you're born with.
Oh, super cheap.
Yeah, it's not something that's changing the world. The problem is, and some people that produce this content will make this argument, and I do think it's a fair argument, it's kind of a chicken or an egg thing, because I mean, what came first, the content or the people that wanted the content? And I think it's a mixture of both. If there weren't simp guys willing to pay $20 a month to see some chick's stuff on OnlyFans, then she wouldn't have a successful OnlyFans, right? But at the same time, if she wasn't making OnlyFans, there's nobody to pay for it. So it kind of goes back and forth. Both sides are at fault, definitely. Both sides are at fault. If you're a guy that's shelling out $100 a month on OnlyFans,
complete idiot.
You are a complete idiot, and whatever situation you're in, I do not feel bad for you because you screwed yourself.
That is a point that I will make about my stance on this. Like, I'm kind of saying, like, from the woman's stance, I could see either way, kind of, for a man, if you're paying an amount of money to get a girl to send you stuff over, like, a text or whatever, that you're never going to, like, meet, there's nothing that will come to fruition out of that other than, like, your own, like, weird gratification that you get from it.
Yeah.
You're an idiot. You're a loser. Why would you ever do that? Please do something else with your money. I totally can't defend that.
I mean,
there's no.
It's just I don't know. The thing is, though, the problem is, and this goes back to, social media inherently was supposed to be a good thing. I don't think there were ever terrible intentions when Facebook was founded or something. But as we become more digital, the problem is that more and more, like, hey, I need money, I'm an attractive girl, I can do this, right? It's just more people jump into it kind of, not really thinking about what it really is. It's just kind of more of an accepted thing, which I think is also really dangerous as OnlyFans becomes more mainstream. That's not a healthy thing for the majority of women. If that's what gets you to make it or whatever, I don't think long term you're going to be happy. If you are great, like I think you have the freedom to do what you want. I'm very, very pro freedom and politically in anything, but I like long term. It's just not a good thing for society at all. Like we literally wonder why depression, anxiety, suicide rate spikes every single year over year. Like it's because we do these type of things.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with you there. Interesting. Yeah, I don't even know what OnlyFans was until
we could have for a day.
Yeah,
but
sure.
We're probably gonna keep it at that one for tonight.
Yeah, we are at exactly an hour. Do you have anything to show me? Something I want to. Okay.
You can go for it first. You said you were bringing content tonight.
Well, I wouldn't really call it content. It's just
anything.
An idea.
If it's an idea, I don't care. Anything.
It's for our podcast. We're almost the decagon. I don't know the right word. The 10th podcast is
Isn't
next
it
week, right?
10? Is it? Oh, it is Deca, right? Deca. Yeah,
Yeah.
Deca's 10. Yeah.
Anyway, we got to start thinking about bringing guests on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely down. Um, yeah, we'll have to figure that out. I had somebody I wanted to bring on, a friend of mine, to talk politics, but I don't know if that's really the avenue we necessarily want to go. I do want to get into some things politically, at some point, but I don't know how comfortable you're with that, so we'll have to discuss that. But even if it
Yeah.
was, I don't know, we'll figure out some ideas off stream. But yeah, I totally agree with
I
that.
think it'll be cool eventually when we can get people that we don't even know. Like, yeah, probably it's gonna have to be a friend at first, you know. But
Yeah.
eventually, once it's like, if we can get like business crossover type stuff that I talked about a little bit earlier, if we can get like not experts in a field, but like just someone like totally different than us that we haven't met to talk to them about stuff and do like a longer, just let them talk and I don't know, be fun. That was my thought.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. I have a couple things here, I believe, on Twitter. Let me send them over real fast. Um, well, okay, this is a meme. I'll bring this up on stream, everybody, but um, I just love this picture so much. Somebody photoshopped this. Something about this makes me just actually laugh every time I see it. Like, it's just great. Everything about this I love. Like, it's probably some Trump guy made this, obviously.
Whose face is on him?
That's Xi Jinping, China's communist
Okay,
leader.
I knew it wasn't Kim Jong, but I knew it was like some Asian
it's something
leader.
like that, Xi Ping or Zping. I don't know even how you say it, but it's just actually like it's such a beautiful picture. It's the context is I believe Winnie the Pooh's band's there. I don't remember why, but it's somehow offensive to the Communist Party. So somebody put the face on Winnie the Pooh, and it's just a good picture. Now, don't even pay attention to the politics around it. I don't know. It's just some random response on Twitter. I don't know who made this, but
does it say you can create your own? Is that real? I'm gonna check it out. Jamie, check if you can make one.
Jamie, check if you can make one. I just love the picture. At the end of the day, I love the picture. So that was one thing, and then also I had something cute for my boy to watch.
God.
This tweet made me smile. See, I don't mind when this type of stuff here and there comes across. This will brighten your day up no matter what. Just first off, read the quote and then watch the video. But I love this. So the quote says, which we can't see the quote. It says, "My man's sitting here like heard y'all stuck inside till May 15th. Hate to see it." It's just my boy eating pizza. Like, I love it.
Where is that, Philly? That's sick.
Sure.
Yeah, it says a Philadelphia woman.
The dog's just chilling there. Like, when I saw that dude quote it, so my man sitting here like, heard y'all stuck inside till May 15th, hate to see it. Like, I can literally hear him saying it to the dogs. Like, I love that. It's just funny.
He just got the pizza out the garbage.
Yeah, he's just a Chad. First off, why are you throwing... Unless the pizza's old, cold pizza is the best thing ever to eat. Cold pizza.
Yeah, I never reheat pizza.
Yeah, I like cold pizza, like, after it's been in the fridge for like 6 hours, better than hot pizza, like fresh out of the oven, like, or from a store, whatever. Like, cold pizza hits, man. I don't care what anybody says. So if you throw out your cold pizza, I hate you, and if you don't like pineapple on pizza, I hate you. Sorry. Do you like pineapple on pizza, Nick?
I do like it. I wouldn't order it, but it is good.
Okay, fair. The sweetness and acidity of pineapple just hits with tomato sauce every time. I grew up on, like, if we get pizza, we'd get like a pineapple pizza too, so that's why I love it.
I like when it's ordered at like work things and like, yeah, like I said, I never order it, but if it's like there, I'm gonna eat a third to a half of it as I'll eat the pineapple stuff. Hang on, Ben. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. I'm making something for you, and you're gonna
see this.
That one's good, but also look at this one.
I have to open. Can I open the link in? Yeah, I can in my browser. I'm on Team Joe. We're both on Team Joe, boys. Let's go. We need to have we actually need to talk about what we think about the election. We don't even have to get too political with it. We should actually just give our thoughts on the upcoming. I mean, we could even just talk about, you know, how Corona's affected. Shut up, Nick. Get out of here. I'm leaving. We're ending the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to show that one. That's such a cursed picture. Honestly, if my hair, like, it just looks so weird because my hair was so far back, it would have been kind of fine. My hair looked normal.
Did you show him at least the big brain Joe
I did
supporters?
show the big brain. I like the big brain.
Okay, well, it's
That
basically
is our
the
actual
hottest pick of
podcast.
them.
Like, that's gonna be our all time. You know, maybe we'll get logos and stuff eventually, but that is still that's still us. Like, that's a visual
That's our thing.
representation of
Oh yeah,
us.
I made a Discord too. I'm working on the Discord, Robot
Right.
Mentality.
Let's go.
So if y'all can join in.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, all right. I think that does it for us, ladies and gentlemen. It has been another episode of the Robot Mentality. Nick, you want to sign us out?
Robots, I wish Ben would show you who's on Team Joe, but he won't.
If you join the Discord, Discord, we'll show you. All right.
That'll be for you. All right, join the Robot Mentality Discord. Stay tuned. Robots, good night.
Good night.